Orale raza, G Funky Boxing here with D Style Boxing, also known as HCP Hispanics Causing Panic, and this is HCP Uncensored, man. And we are ready to get this thing started, man. We're doing the show a little early this week, and of course, there's a holiday that's going on Thursday. So, we had to move some things around, which is cool, no sweat. I'm pretty open this week because my daughter is off school. I'm off of work. So, I'm flexible as can be, man. But D-Style, how you doing, bro?
I'm chilling like a villain. Who's down with HCP? Everybody. Just chilling here. You know what I mean? HCP, you know me.
Absolutely, man. We're ready to talk about some interesting topics here, man. You guys seen the thumbnail and the title, obviously. We're going to get a few people on, hopefully a little bit later, talk a little bit more about this situation because we feel like, Margarito in the case with his hand wraps against Shane Mosley is something that's been taken just way, way far out in the outer space where it doesn't belong. And people are using it for current events like things like Lovegate, stuff like that. And it's just not what we thought it was, man. Upon further review,
And by the way, that's including us.
exactly. Because let me tell you guys, man, I made the video. I believe is still up, man. I haven't checked my old videos in quite some time, but I believe that my video of the prediction and post fight for that second Margarito Cotto fight is still up. And I believe I mentioned how I was upset with Margarito and how I wanted him to lose that rematch because of the accusations that were put out there by Nassim Richardson, Shea Mosley, Miguel Cotto, and HBO. I'm sure you felt the same way, right, D-Style?
Yep.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And upon further review, I like to use that term, it almost sound like the officials in the NFL. But after we've, done some research and we talked to some people who, who were associated with a lot of people that were at the court hearings and things like that, it's definitely not what we thought it was. Now we're not trying to say 100% that Margarito is innocent, because there was illegal findings on those confiscated wraps. Margarito is innocent, Oh, because I got some feedback going on. You there, bro?
I'm here, bro. I'm here.
Okay. Yeah, sorry, I heard some feedback coming from your end. Yeah, there was illegal substances found, but it was not the way that it was made to be seen.
Well, I take it a step further, G Funky. Like saying it was illegal findings, even that is actually not even true. Really, the more I look at it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so
there might have been suspicious findings, but never. Once the investigation went through, they never proved anything to be illegal at all.
Yeah, it's interesting, man, and I'm hoping that some people show up. We had a conversation, and I want to say this, man. Shout out to Blood Boxing, man. He's been having some very good panels recently where he's allowed people to come on. And that's the whole idea of Uncensored as well. Is we want people to jump on and talk with us about certain things. It doesn't have to be a debate, doesn't have to be an argument, it doesn't have to be a shouting match. We're grown adults here. We can talk about these sort of things without getting emotional and stuff like that. But shout out to Blood for having really good panels lately. And I didn't get a chance to jump on, but D-Style did, and people kept bringing up the Margarito situation, and we understand, man. It took us a lot of searching and a lot of time and research to find these things out. So we don't expect everybody to know, but we do have sources and people that were there that have told us, that it's not exactly what we thought. And, we're just here to educate, we're here to educate the boxing community out there on YouTube about it. And like I said, hopefully these people show up so that we can have this conversation. But I want to talk about this weekend's fights, man. D-Style, are you pumped for this weekend's fights, man?
You know what? No. I'm not really that pumped, to be honest with you, man. I mean, I'm looking forward to them. I'm gonna watch them, but it's nothing like, there was just some other events that I was more pumped for. You know what I mean? But I'll take it. At the end of the day, it's boxing, and I'll watch it.
Yes, sir. There's a lot of fights, man. They're not the best fights, but there's a lot of fights going on. Friday night, we got Daniel Jacobs versus Gabe Rosado. I'm really surprised that Rosado is still fighting, dude. Like, I thought, man, I did not think he was still fighting, but he is. And what do you think about him, man? Do you think it's time, if he loses to Daniel Jacobs this Friday, is it time to hang it up for Rosado?
Yes. And, his last name says it all. Ya está Rosado. Like, that's it. You know what I mean? It's time to wrap it up. And if he loses, that's it. At least at this level. Like, I mean, if he wants to keep fighting, I understand, make a living, do his thing at a lower level. But as far as being in eliminators and titles and all that, yes.
I agree. He's been in some brutal fights. And yeah, I think if Daniel Jacobs, which I think he should get the job done, it's time. Are you excited about Dubois or Joe Joyce?
Yes, slow Joyce. I am excited about the fight. Not like some other. I mean, people are acting like it's a big fight, and I'm not saying it's a terrible fight or anything like that. Don't get me wrong, but I'm indifferent about it. I'm gonna watch it, but it's not something that I'm like, anticipating like that now.
Yeah, we are joined by
I'm gonna dive in tomorrow on that for sure for tomorrow's show.
Yeah, for sure, man. We're joined here by Joehabibi from Ringside Reporter Live. What's going on, Beeb? How you doing, man?
HCP! Yeah!
You can cuss, you can act crazy, whatever you want.
I love the energy, Beeb. I love this guy, man. How's it going, man?
I haven't been this great in years.
This is like the greatest day of his life, being on Uncensored. Look at this.
Man, look at him down in that Diet Pepsi too, man.
Little caffeine free. Imagine if I had caffeine in this, I'd be through the roof right now.
Maybe we'll get you through the roof for the Joyce, the Joy Joyce.
But I want to get on this Margarito thing though, for real. Like, if I'm honest, like, for
yeah, let's go ahead and talk about.
That's the title. That's what the people want, bro. It's Uncensored. Let's get to the good stuff. Come on.
Yeah, I was waiting on our boy here to show up, man, and he's here now. So, D-Style, could you take over for 1 second, man? I got to step away for 1 second, man. But could you just take over for a few minutes? Thank you.
Joehabibi, how's it doing? How you doing?
Good, man. It was a real rainy day here, but I had to beat the clouds. I brought my own sunshine today to the dance.
Oh, I see. You got sunshine on a cloudy day, right? That's Beep. But check it out, all right? Beep, can you tell us, like, take us through the evolution of Joehabibi, right? As far as what you believed about the Margarito situation, when it first started, and how you evolved to where you are now. Like kind of take everyone through that, through your evolutionary process of how you felt about Margarito and the hand wraps.
I drank the Kool-Aid.
We all did, yeah.
I believed what was being said to me, and as I've evolved, not just with the Margarito situation, but with boxing media in general, it's almost like the National Enquirer. They just will put anything out there to grab a headline. So as I've became more and more distrustful of the boxing media and a lot of the mainstream boxing media, the big outlets, the big websites, what their goal is just to create controversy so they can make money. But all I heard were things, and there was really no evidence brought to the table. And one thing that really stood out to me about this whole thing was everyone kept comparing this to the Louis Resto thing.
Mhm.
And what people don't realize is Louis Resto went to jail for assault. Okay? Margarito went away for not even a year. Not even a year. I think it was he ended up fighting like 8 or 9 months later. And he was under an investigation. And then he was able to come back. So I started saying to myself, what's going on here? Was he suspended? Was he not? And I have to give Gabriel Montoya, I'm going to give him a shout out. I haven't always agreed with him on everything, but he was a main component of me changing my mind on this thing, because he actually, the way he broke it down made a lot of sense. And he made me question whether or not this was true or not. And he explained something to me. He said, well, what they really found in the wraps was a trace element of a particle that, when wet, could become hard like plaster of Paris. So that's like saying, and I know we talked about this before, there's trace elements of arsenic in our food, okay? And people, like, if you ask someone, do you consume arsenic? Everyone's gonna be like,
No.
hell no, I don't eat arsenic. Are you kidding me? I'd be dead if I ate arsenic. That's not true. Joe Rogan actually had a high level of arsenic in his body, not enough to kill him, but it was high enough to be concerned about. And he was getting it from eating too much sardines. So he stopped eating sardines and he went back to the doctors, and the arsenic went away. I mean, arsenic's in brown rice, it's in our wheat, whatever. So when someone says trace elements, that is like a minuscule amount. So a lot of fighters, if you took their wraps off, they would have trace elements of all types of foreign substances in their gloves. We have trace elements of foreign substances on our clothes. We're breathing in stuff that we don't even realize. If we did it at a high level, we could be really hurting ourselves. So the way Gabe explained it was, that's what they found in the gloves. And then the whole thing about Naseem Richardson saying that 2 bricks fell out of his gloves, or 2 plastic hard substances fell out of his gloves. Then he recanted on that one. So there's just been a lot of inconsistencies with this whole story. And the way Gabe explained it, he said that he wasn't really suspended. It was kind of like a provisionary suspension based upon whether, waiting on the investigation to be completed. And it seemed that the investigation was inconclusive,
Right?
Because he got reinstated. He was fighting 8-9 months later, and everything was copacetic. So everyone's like, oh, Margarito cheated, Margarito did this, Margarito did that. But if he really was guilty of what he was accused of doing, he could go to jail. That's assault. That's assault. That's what people don't understand. People think that it's so easy to do these things in the sport of boxing and get away with it. It's just really not easy to do these things. And Naseem Richardson was a guy who was just known for trying to pull those types of games with people, opposing fighters' camps, having people unwrap and rewrap, and that was all of them a mind game type thing.
It worked.
He did it with Trinidad. He did it with Margarito. He did it with one of Steve Cunningham's fights too. I forget who Steve Cunningham was fighting, an IBF cruiserweight title fight, and he made the guy's name was Troy. I forget his last name, but he made him rewrap too.
By the way, what was he with Cunningham when Cunningham fought Fury?
Yes, he was.
And he didn't find anything wrong with Fury's raps, right, or his gloves. The great Nassim Richardson didn't find anything on the guy that's cheated in every fight.
Breaking news!
No.
All right. Well, so we know that was all clean, right? I mean, I'm just saying. I think it's fair to say, but
so I'm gonna say that I'm leaning on the side that Margarito did not cheat.
Right.
I'm leaning on the side that Margarito did not cheat. Can I say that unequivocally? No, I cannot. But if I was in a court of law right now and I was on a jury, I have reasonable doubt. So I could not convict Margarito of cheating because I have reasonable doubt.
Well, I think we have more than reasonable doubt. I mean, I think we have a lot of doubt.
Yeah, I do.
I think here's the thing. Okay, I know I can't speak for all of it. I can speak for myself, but I'm guilty of. I got some feedback with you, G-Funk. I could hear an echo, but here's what I could say, man. I remember I used to just say things like I started from he cheated, and then I started to see things that really have other explanations, but I decided to just tie them in with plaster of Paris, right? And I've heard people say the following, babe, and G Funky. I've heard them say, Margarito couldn't punch for nothing, and all of a sudden, he was a big power puncher, knocking guys out. Like that. That was never the case, actually.
Never.
That's just things that people just say, and they've just been repeating them. When people a lot of these people honestly did not follow the career of Antonio Margarito. A lot of people saw Margarito fight for the first time when he fought Paul Williams. Be honest, that's the first time you saw the guy fight. Okay, many of you, that's the first time you saw the guy fight. If you saw his fight with Daniel Santos, okay, if you saw his, it's not, people act like they've been following. If you did, you would know he knocked out or stopped, Maravilla Martinez years ago. You would know that and not say things like, he was a guy that couldn't stop nobody. And then he started just stopping everybody. All of a sudden, he was like Julian Jackson, somebody said. I mean, what type of an exaggeration is that? I never seen Margarito do a one-punch knockout on anybody at all. Right? If anything, he got a one-punch knockdown most recently when we know he couldn't have had anything. So, and then this whole it was obvious that he was doing it if you watch his fights. And, man, I just know a lot of you did not go back and watch his fights. Because if you did, like I eventually did, you would know that that's a bunch of rubbish. You would know that that's a bunch of dumb shit. All right?
Yeah.
Like a lot of you you did not follow the career. You did not have suspicion. Nobody was saying, where does this guy get this power out of nowhere? There was nothing out of nowhere. It was an accumulation of punishment on opponents, like a swarmer does. So that's all I got to say about that. You know what I mean? As far as the suspicion, the things people just say, and shout out to him. I'm not trying to single him out or anything like that because there's a lot of people out there, and I was one of them at one point. But, Sean from Boxing Socialist, he has a video that has 28,000 views, right? And he literally says that he's it's Richardson comparing the difference of, he's like, Richardson explains the difference between the Margarito raps and the Trinidad raps. Now, Richardson does not go into detail. All he says is Margarito's raps were illegal, and then he proceeds to stop the video and say, see, guys, look at that right there. That's proof that there was plaster of Paris on the rap. That's what it says.
Yeah.
Like there was literally never was plaster of Paris on the raps. Ever. People are still saying these things. And it's amazing how people just keep repeating it, but it's literally was never proven. The opposite was done. It was disproven. There was no plaster of Paris. There was no bricks.
Yeah.
There was never bricks, ever. At best, he exaggerated. Maybe he was using that as a metaphor or something, right? but there was never bricks on the wraps ever.
Never. And another thing that I find very funny about this whole situation is that for something like this, like a claim to be made that a man had bricks in his wraps, the man goes to court, right? I mean, and that's all part of the process, right? The fact that there wasn't a whole lot of media covering this, I find that kind of funny. And then the media that was there said things like, like we've already covered, like B-Style just said, like they found minute traces of something, Doug Fisher was quoted one of the guys from the commission said it was like a sprinkle of salt or a pinch of salt on the wraps. Not only that, Nassim Richardson himself never came to the hearing. Like to me, I find that very suspicious, man. That the guy who quote unquote found bricks in a man's glove, and he said it himself that he was so upset when he found it that he wanted to jump over the table and beat up Margarito and his trainer. Doesn't even bother to show up, man. To me, that says a lot. It's definitely not. Definitely, there's no bricks. Okay, I think we should throw that out the window, man. What do you guys think?
Well, here's the thing. The most disturbing thing about this whole story is they smeared a man, and they couldn't provide evidence. And boxing cleared this man. He was allowed to fight again. All the commissions allowed him to fight. But nobody actually came out and said Margarito was cleared. There was no evidence to support that he had plaster of Paris in his gloves. So Nassim Richardson, HBO, all these websites, and all the people still regurgitating and parroting the whole Margarito had bricks in his gloves. He had plaster of Paris. Nobody who accused him and was proven wrong, none of those people came out and said I was wrong. I apologize. They were willing to destroy a man's livelihood, his name, his career, his character, and all for what? For a headline? Nassim Richardson did it for what? To get a psychological advantage just so he could win a fight? But you were willing to destroy a man's for one night? Boxing is about destroying a man for one night. There's nothing in boxing that says you have to destroy him for the rest of his life. Okay? So Nassim Richardson was willing to destroy this man's life forever just to get that edge on that one night. And HBO could not go back and say we were wrong here. It was never proven. We don't have evidence. No one has come out. You know what the problem is? Because maybe Margarito's not important enough to a lot of these people, but that's not right. Margarito, if anything, Margarito showed a lot of character in that ring. He had a lot of heart. He fought with courage. He gave it his all. He always made weight. He was ripped every time he stepped into that ring. So I think Margarito, as a human being, not only as a boxer, but as a human being, deserves better than what he got out of this whole situation, in my opinion.
Look, man, here's a reality. If they had, they confiscated the pads, okay? If there was plaster of Paris on these wraps, Margarito would have been sent to jail. You guys not understand, all right? If bricks, quote unquote, fell out, okay, like literally think of something that hard fell out of the wraps. I don't even believe there's a fight. I just don't. I honestly believe that this dude gets taken in. All right. I mean that would be assault or attempted assault. All right. That's just the reality of the situation. There's too many people that have spoke about this as a matter of fact for too long that are being very hesitant to just say, you know what, I was wrong about this. I've been had about this. Okay. Listen, Dan Rafael, guilty, on ESPN, was asked, do you believe he did this? And he said, I have no proof, but in my heart, I believe he did. What the hell does that even mean?
Yeah.
That doesn't mean anything, okay? So at the end of the day, man, like I think what's important here is this. This is what's important for people to know, all right? If Margarito didn't have any quote-unquote power or anything, right? Once the quote-unquote raps were no longer there, why did Manny Pacquiao stay at the hospital with hurt ribs after the fight with Margarito then?
Exactly.
Why is, like, Manny didn't spend the night at the hospital, okay, after he fought Keith Thurman. He didn't spend the night at the hospital, okay, after the fight with Mayweather. He didn't spend the night at the hospital, in all these other wars he was in. But in this one, man, was he hurt to the body. Man, did he take some punishment to the body? And many people who already felt this dude was guilty never acknowledged that for years, including myself, because I didn't want to give him any credit for anything. Because I was convinced that this guy cheated. Right? And I talked about it like it was a matter of fact. And people keep they keep like repeating the name of Margarito as if it's a fact that he was cheating fight after fight after fight. They're like, literally, I will repeat, they never found anything. A commissioner said, oh, it looked like something like plaster of Paris. But they never proved it. The commission had every incentive and did everything they could to prove that there was plaster of Paris, and they never did, right? All they could say is, oh, we got some minute traces of it. Like, that's all that's all you got. That's literally all you got. That is ridiculous. And no, we're not going to let go of this. And yes, people need to hear the truth. All right. And that's why we're talking about it. More people know about it today than they did, a couple of weeks ago. All right. So, like, it is important for people to stop saying things like, like people go into detail, guys. People talk about Margarito and they'll explain in detail what he did as if it's a fact. Like, what Margarito would do, they would put plaster of Paris, they would dip it in plaster of Paris, and then when his hands would get sweaty, the wraps would harden, and keep in mind, what do you mean the wraps would harden? The thing in question was the knuckle pad, not the wraps. That's number one. Second, they never found plaster of Paris on the knuckle pad. So why are people going into detail about what Margarito was doing with the wraps and how they were turned into plaster of Paris and all that other shit? Why are people going into detail about that? That makes no sense.
Those wraps are probably the most thoroughly inspected wraps in the last couple decades in the sport of boxing, because they went to a lab. When he was under investigation, they took those wraps to a lab, okay? And all they could find was a trace element. It went to a lab.
Yeah, so here in my hometown. They went to the lab here.
no pair of hand wraps.
Look at that brick.
No pair of hand wraps were under as much scrutiny as that pair of hand wraps were, okay? So if there was something to be found after being so thoroughly examined to such a high extent, it would have been found. Okay, it would have been found. That's the thing. And it's troubling that no one's come out and cleared this guy. No one's come out and cleared this guy. This is like this guy's facing a life sentence for something that he didn't do.
By the way, Ken, you will send an email if you want to. We're not going to put it in the chat. Just telling you right now.
Yeah, my email's on the screen, and I just put it in the chat. But these things did go to the lab. There's paperwork on it.
They never went to the lab. Then what is that? What is that yellow piece of paper? What is that information there?
Okay, so let me put it this way, right?
You have to prove to me it didn't go to a lab. It did go to a lab, sir.
So you're telling me that nothing was ever proven, then, is what you're saying, right? So in other words, they accused Margarito of having plaster of Paris without ever proving it. Is that what you're saying? Because either way, whether it went to a lab or not, it doesn't help the case, right?
They did go to a lab. It's documented right there.
Yeah, they did.
I agree with you, but you know how people are. Like if they want to believe something, they'll believe it.
The picture is right there with the lab information on it. I mean, it has the date that it went to the lab and everything. I mean,
I mean, it was sent here to my hometown, man. I know exactly where the building is, bro. Like they were sent there.
You know what I love about YouTube, man?
Yeah.
Highest level of cognitive dissonance you're ever gonna see.
Right.
Highest level.
It's whatever I want to believe, and I'm gonna go with that.
I'm wearing a striped. I'm wearing a striped shirt right now. No, you're not, Beeb. That's not a striped shirt, and I have it right on. No, it's not striped, Beeb. It's really not.
That's not striped at all. Like
it's not striped.
Not it's lined.
Yeah,
So,
it's lined.
I want to play a clip here real quick of
What?
Again, this is what HBO put out there. This was just before the rematch between Cotto and Margarito got stopped. I want you to just hear what Jim Lampley has to say. Listen to this. Wow. The same sledgehammer impact. Like, you hit a guy with a sledgehammer. I mean, I obviously he's not saying a real sledgehammer, but I mean, if you got bricks in your gloves, like, there's no way that Cotto's going 11 rounds. I mean, that's that's crazy. But see, that's the type of stuff that they were putting out there, and people were believing it, man. You know, I don't got your email yet.
Forget about that. He's taking up too much airtime, man.
Here's the thing about Louis Resto too, because Louis Resto did not have power. He wasn't a big puncher, and everyone's like, "Yeah, look what he did to his face." So Louis Resto took all the padding out of the glove and had plaster of Paris inside the glove. Okay, and he couldn't even knock out Billy Collins. Billy Collins went the distance. The distance. So just because you take the padding out of a glove or whatever, yeah, you may bust the guy's face up because obviously you're hitting him with the bare knuckle. But you know, if you can't punch, you can't punch. Doesn't mean you're going to knock the guy out. You know,
right?
And you know what? I get tired of hearing about, you know, oh, Margarito could have killed somebody and he could have killed Shane Mosley. And well, what about all the people Shane Mosley could have killed? Okay, from like, how do we like? We know he was using steroids, right? So how many fights is Shane Mosley fighting where he was juiced up? He could have killed somebody. So say everybody wants to get emotional about everything. Like, he could have killed him. Well, Mosley could have killed people. You know what I mean? What if he would have killed De La Hoya while he was juiced up? Like, if we're gonna play these games, right? Like, so that's why people they get emotional about things like, oh, he could have killed him. I'm not even gonna talk about it. Like, no, we could talk about it and not get emotional about it. You know what I mean? Like, as simple as that.
Yep. And it's I mean, the thing is this, like, we all had to kind of sit down and just kind of like take a deep breath and like, man, maybe this was not what we thought. You know, we've all three of us have gone through that because, you know, we were all thinking again that this guy, there was no doubt that this guy had bricks. You know, I mean, the trainer said it. Even Mosley said it. I played the audio the last time we were here of Mosley himself saying that it was plaster of Paris. But then later on, you know, he said, hey, you know, maybe it was just me. Maybe I just have a better style. You know, like when asked about the bricks again or the plaster of Paris, like and then again, the trainer doesn't show up to court. So, I mean, there was no bricks in this guy's gloves. Or his pads, man. Does
that look like a brick to you? They literally confiscated it.
Yeah.
Right? Like, does that look like a brick? That's not a brick. Come on. At the very least, that's a severe exaggeration. Right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, at the very least.
Yeah. I agree, man. And, you know, believe it or not, they were, I mean, the reports are out there, man. They're not hidden. Like, you can read them. I've read them. I've seen the reports. They were sent to the lab right here in my hometown. I'm from Sacramento. They were sent here to the Department of Justice right on Broadway. I know exactly where that building is. Okay. Right. They were sent here for sure, man. I've seen the document. I've seen the address. It's the same address that I've been to before. So I know it's been there, man.
Here's why people are using this one, because here's what someone can do by using this story, right? You cast out in the process of the hand wrap check and the glove check is what you do, right? But by saying, well, look, Margarito did it his whole career and nobody ever caught him, so the commission doesn't do anything, right? I mean, do you not understand how ridiculous that sounds? That's like saying, you know what that's like, are there people that escape prison? Yes, right? But is it smart to say that, oh, well, why do we have guards at the prisons? I mean, they don't do their job. I mean, look, there's been a couple dozen escapes in the last couple of years from prisons, right? Well, obviously, it doesn't mean that guards are. Could it mean that some guards were inadequate and or some security systems were inadequate? Yeah. If somebody breaks into your home and successfully steals shit from you, right? Are you going to say, I had an alarm system. I guess alarm systems don't work, because there's been robberies at homes with alarm systems. So these alarm systems aren't doing their job. Like, you know what I mean? Like this idea that because of a couple things that slip through the cracks, right, that the whole thing is inadequate and they never catch anything is ridiculous. Because here's what I want to kind of dive into with you guys. So whenever there's a story, right, that comes out. So let's use the Roman one from just last week. We covered it immediately. The roundtable, right before the roundtable came out, we talked about it, right? And here's the thing. Obviously, the process worked, right? The guy didn't go to the ring with them. But here's what people need to understand. There wasn't a bug in the system. That was the feature that caught it, right? So there was transparency. They allowed the other trainer to look at the gloves, and that was just the first line of inspection. They were still going to have to inspect the gloves the next day while the gloves were on and everything. Like, it didn't even get past the first phase, right? But yeah, we got guys like Ego and probably Dante's Boxing and Aki that come out and see this. It's proof right here that Tyson Fury cheated. Like, I mean, think about how ridiculous that sounds on its face, right? When I thought it's the process doesn't work. Well, this is the opposite of that. But here's what I want people to understand. In every case where something's caught, it's not in spite of the commission. It's in part of the commission. And this is the part that people keep missing, right? Like, none of these things are leaked. Never has a trainer secretly checked the glove when the commission wasn't looking and discovered that there was something wrong with the glove and exposed the commission. That's never been the case, ever. Name me one case where the commission was not involved in the process, right? You know what happens in a glove selection meeting? Both camps are there. Why do you think they're both there? Is it because we're all trusting of the commission? No. The system is designed where you don't trust anybody, okay? And you come in with your team, all right, and you're allowed to inspect it your fucking self, all right? So Wilder's team was allowed to do the same thing. That they were allowed to look at the gloves too. All right. So now, conveniently, Diaz is saying he didn't touch them. We don't know if he did or he didn't. How do you guys know he didn't touch the gloves? How do we know that? You're just going to take Diaz's word for it? And if he didn't touch them, whose fault is that? There's no rule that says you can't touch them. There's no rule that says you can't touch the gloves. So either there is a conspiracy and Diaz is part of the conspiracy, or there was nothing wrong with the gloves. You got to pick. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Beeb, you want to add anything to that, bro?
Yeah, I mean, the gloves didn't even make it to the locker room, and here's the thing. Gloves, I've had bag gloves and I've used them, and a lot of times the gloves wear. And when they wear, the padding does move around. And there are portions of the glove that, because the padding moves around and because the glove wears in a certain area, the padding is moved and it's not. And there's spots or portions of the glove that aren't padded. It happens. And that could have very well happened with these pair of gloves. Same thing when people talk about the whole Mayweather thing, and Mayweather picked up Maidana's gloves that he wanted to use. There's no padding in here. And everyone says, oh, they took it literally like there was no padding in the glove. No, there was padding in the glove. There just wasn't enough padding in the glove to Mayweather's liking. Because again, those are puncher's gloves. Those are gloves that have horsehair in them. 8-ounce glove is you take 2 pairs of 8-ounce gloves of different make and model, and you put them on a scale. They're both going to weigh 8 ounces. But the padding, the way the padding is distributed in each glove is different. That's why you have what's called puncher's gloves, and as D-Star likes to say, therapeutic gloves. Therapeutic gloves have more
orthopedic
or orthopedic, however you want to call it. Thank you. And they have more padding, and they're generally more rounder because they protect the fighter's fists. So fighters who have brittle hands, who have issues with breaking their hands, they want the more padded glove. Guys who are punchers, they want the gloves that are more flat. They have the flat padding in the front. So Mayweather does not like those gloves. He doesn't like those MX gloves. He didn't want Maidana to wear any MX glove. So they took another pair of MX gloves, and then Mayweather just said, "No, you're not going to wear these gloves at all."
They sent out Cleto Reyes too.
Yeah, the backup pair, right? And they made him wear power lock.
Yeah, he didn't want Maidana to use any puncher glove, any type of puncher's glove. He didn't want him to wear it. So Mayweather picked the glove up and go, "There's no padding in here." That didn't mean literally there was no padding in the glove. It was just that he was like, "Oh, these aren't pillows like mine," basically.
Yeah. And then try to say, well, put him in the same shit as me,
Yeah, fuck out of here.
If he wanted Maidana to wear the same pair, he should have had that in the contract when they negotiated the fight. That's what the lawyer would do, in fairness. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You have to agree to wear the same. I didn't agree with that personally.
And then he paid him. He paid him
millions. Yeah.
Was it $1 million or $2 million? How many?
I think it was like one. I think it was $1.5 million.
Paid him $1.5 million just to have him wear the same gloves that he was wearing.
Well, it was a power lock gloves. Yes, it wasn't exactly the Grant gloves, but that was a compromise. He paid him for the compromise.
Yeah.
Yep. Very true.
What I don't understand is, like, people are acting like the horsehair gloves are like this new illegal thing that are coming out, when horsehair gloves are the traditional glove. Like this is the horsehair gloves is what all the legends that everybody talks about wore. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And so now there's new gloves, okay, that are designed differently now, and everyone just believes this is the gloves that everybody needs to wear, but not every boxer wants to wear that. Not every boxer has, brittle hands, and you know what I mean? Every boxer is different. You know what I mean? Like they have different, preferences on the type of glove they want to wear. But if I'm honest, man, like when they just show like a horsehair glove, and a lot of boxing fans look at them, they look nothing like the gloves you buy at Walmart. These are professional boxing gloves, So you can't buy these at the academy. You can't go to, Sears or wherever. You know what I mean? You can't go anywhere to buy, horsehair professional 8-ounce gloves. You know what I mean? Like that's not going to find that there. All right. So when fans look at them when they're not on, they might look a little scary to some people.
Yeah.
Right? They might be like, whoa, it doesn't have anything. Like, well, how much padding? 8 ounces. Like how much padding do you think it has? Like the gloves are designed to protect the fighter's hands. That's it. You know what I mean? They're not designed to I don't know what people believe, that the gloves are designed to protect the opponent's face and body. Isn't that counterintuitive to the whole point of boxing and why we're engaging in the sport in the first place?
Yeah.
But I think the main thing I want to let people understand is this. All these things are encouraged by the commission. The fighter going, checking out the gloves, putting on the gloves, the corner, testing them out. It's all part of the process, all of it, right? So for anyone who says, oh, so you're just going to trust the commission? Let me take you back to the Dillian White situation, right? What was my problem with the Dillian White situation, Okay. My problem was that Dillian White was allowed to put on a different pair than was at the glove selection meeting, and they did not allow Russ Abner, who was the glove inspector for Rivas, to inspect the glove. I found that very suspicious. Be suspicious of commissions that don't allow people to check the wraps and the gloves. Don't be suspicious or call out commissions that did allow, okay, the other corner to look at the wraps and the gloves. That's what they're supposed to do. That's called transparency, right? So, like, I'm just going to let you guys kind of sit on that one.
Yeah, it's nothing new, man. And the fact that we have a lot of big channels out here acting like it's something new, like with when Povetkin checked White's gloves before he knocked White's ass out, you know, like dude, that's been going on for so long. Like, I mean, you gotta you either trying to push something or you just, I don't know, you just don't know boxing that well. But that's something that's been done for quite a long time. You know, if you go back and watch the pay-per-view with Margarito and Pacquiao, you can see the commission standing right there, and they're allowing the other corners to be there to watch while the hands are getting wrapped. They signed off on them, give them the gloves, giving the opponent's trainer the gloves to look at. Like, you can see it, it's all there, man. So I mean, it's nothing new, man. Nothing new at all. Beeb, you got anything, bro?
No, I mean it's just people just repeating stuff they hear without really doing the research is what it is. So,
yep, I agree, man. So I think that, you know, at this point, we can all pretty much say that from what we've heard, that he had bricks, or like Jim Lampley tried to say, sledgehammers, you know, so they'd have the same sledgehammer effect as the first fight. I mean, we gotta put that to bed, man. That's not what was found, not even close to it, man. Anything you want to add to this, D-Style, before we move on to the next topic, man?
No, I know not to sound like this case law thing here, but I need to let you know that there was more than one hearing and more than one day in court. You know what I mean? But we'll dive more into that, like in later episodes and stuff like that. But here's what I'll say. There's people that know a lot about this topic, like, you know, Gabriel Montoya and even like Doug Fisher, and we'll dive deep into it because those people were actually there at the court where Nasim Richardson did not show up, right? And the commission ultimately never really punished Margarito, right? They just had him suspended while they did the investigation, but if you notice, they did not extend his like, in other words, Resto was suspended too, and then after the investigation, they found that you know that they did monkey with the gloves, and then he went to jail.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so look at the two differences there.
And he never fought again. He never fought again after that.
He never fought again.
Margarito had huge fights, and I mean huge fights. This guy was fighting on pay-per-view after this happened. He fought Manny Pacquiao on pay-per-view. He fought Miguel Cotto in a rematch on pay-per-view. So, I mean, it's not even close to that, man. Not even close. But I think we'll go ahead and move on from that, man, because I think we've put this thing to bed. And, yeah, guys, just do a little research out there, man. Again, Gabriel Montoya, Doug Fisher, those guys are there, man, you know, so.
So one last thing.
Go ahead.
Why was the fight even allowed to go on if he violated this rule? They would have, you know what I mean? Like, they had to do an investigation. If it was conclusive right from the jump that there was funny business going on, then they wouldn't have allowed him to fight at all. You know what I mean? They wouldn't have allowed him to fight at all. You can't put a foreign substance in your glove and then just be allowed to fight after that. They would not allow him to fight. They had to inspect everything and do an investigation. And, you know, I just don't understand, like, why this is so hard for some people to understand.
It's, I mean,
it was not conclusive. That's what I'm trying to say. but people are acting like it was conclusive.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
if you say something feels like plaster, that doesn't mean it's plaster. Like if you don't like, you could break a wrapping violation. That doesn't mean you put anything foreign in the glove. That's the thing. They may not have liked the gauze, the way the gauze was formed that they put in the glove. They could say it was too hard. That's fine. That doesn't mean that it was that it was a plaster being. People were saying that plaster of Paris and bricks were put in this guy's glove. No, the gauze was put on it. The gauze was formed in a specific way. Nasim Richardson thought that the gauze was too hard. The commission looked at the gauze, they inspected it, they felt it, they thought it was hard too. So then they took the gauze and they inspected it.
I mean, think about it, guys. We had a televised fight, okay, where a referee called a headbutt, right? And it took them 30 minutes to review it, and then they still came out and they said there was a headbutt. In fact, there was 2 headbutts, right? When the whole world saw the fight, when you look at it in real time, you could see that it was not caused by headbutt. It was caused by jabs, right? But they just didn't want to go against the decision of the referee. You know what I mean? Like they doubled down. The California State Athletic Commission did everything they could to try and find this guy guilty. And they still couldn't do it. All right?
Exactly. And Lawrence Williams, no, he does not have a fight coming up. At least I hope not. I mean, there is a lot of old guys trying to come out of retirement and fight again, but no, we're basically just going over it because, there's been a lot of controversy this year as far as gloves were padding removed, things being put inside gloves and stuff like that, and people want to use Margarito's case to say, yeah, you see, Margarito got away with it, and we probably got away with it for years, but we're just simply saying that the things that were said were not true, like Nasim Richardson saying that there was a brick, and he literally said that in an interview. He said a brick fell out, and that's all that we're doing here, man.
Look, footnotes on this, number 4, and listen very closely to what I'm about to read. Listen very closely, okay? 4, because we conclude that rules 323 and 390 allow the commission to revoke a boxer's license for violation of Rule 323 without a showing of guilty knowledge or intent, i.e., on the basis of strict liability. We need not address the parties' arguments as to whether principles of vicarious liability might also apply. Okay? I mean, come on.
Here's another thing in the ruling as well. Neither Rule 323 nor Rule 390 contains qualifying language such as knowingly or intentionally. The absence of such qualifying language indicates that the commission did not intend guilty knowledge or intend to be elements of a violation.
Yes. So, and Coach, to answer the question, why didn't these publications retract?
Because they don't like to admit that they're wrong and they're embarrassed.
They don't want to admit that they were wrong. Okay, like it's hard to admit, what I was wrong about that after, saying with confidence that a dude cheated. When Dan Rafa goes on ESPN and says, "I don't have any proof, but in my heart, I still believe he cheated. I don't care what the findings say. Okay, I believe he cheated. God damn it, and that's it." It's hard to come out and say, all right, I was wrong about that. If they don't have an incentive to, at all, there's no pressure to do it. And Aram, well, real quick, Aram basically, he's making money off of the Cotto Margarito rematch. You think he's going to come out and defend Margarito or sell a fight like a good guy versus bad guy, heel versus face? Margarito,
he made some money.
Cheater, come on, that's go ahead, B.
Aram did defend Margarito, but just read what this says. This is the biggest crock of shit ever. Neither Rule 323 nor Rule 390 contains qualifying language such as knowingly or intentionally.
Right.
The absence of such qualifying language indicates the commission did not intend guilty knowledge or intent. So they're basically saying that he didn't cheat.
Mm-hmm.
And Beep, I mean, I
They're
understand.
basically saying he didn't cheat.
Well, not only that, Beep, but back to the Aram thing really quick. Yes, Aram did some interviews and was because he was being asked by a lot of these same boxing writers, why are you letting this guy fight? Why are you letting this guy fight? And all Aram would say was he was never found guilty of nothing. However, we can't deny that, you know, whether it was indirect or directly, that the way that whole promotion went through, you could say it was mainly HBO, but he was a promoter of that fight.
Do you know why? Do you know why no one retracted either? Because there was so much pressure from the media that the California Commission was basically bullied into doing what they did. Because they didn't want to face the backlash of of all the media and everything.
They did everything they could to find this guy guilty, bro. I mean, come on, Trey Salamans, are you fucking kidding me?
Yeah, minute findings. You know,
But I could eat rice and say, like Beeb explained earlier, and I guess I had plaster of Paris in my stomach right now because I had a brown rice this morning, Beeb. You know what I mean?
You got arsenic, yeah. You got arsenic in your body.
I mean, like, come on, dude. Like this commission. Do you remember the commission? How demean? Like, I still remember. Like, I didn't think anything of it then, because again, I mean, me then and me now are two different people, right? In terms of this whole thing, like I used to think, like, man, go in on them, but I still remember like them just scolding Margarito, like they were like, how do you not know that you had a plaster-like substance in your wrap? And he'll be like, I don't know. What do you mean? I don't know. How would I know that? Like, you know, because he didn't have it in his possession. Okay. Like, at all. So the commission's telling him at the hearing that how do you not know you had a hard plaster-like substance in your knuckle? And he's saying, well, I didn't feel anything like that. You know what I mean?
Do you want to hear something?
Yeah.
Let me say something.
You
real quick,
want to hear something else? This is very important. Listen to this one. Rule 323 by its terms expressly applies to contestants such as Margarito. It states in relevant part, contestants shall use soft surgical bandages not over 2 inches wide, held in place by not more than 10 yards of surgeon adhesive tapes for each hand, not more than 20. Margarito, they're basically didn't like the size of the things either.
Right.
So it didn't mean that he had plaster of Paris in his gloves
at all. No.
They were complaining about the size of the gauze.
What about this? What about this, B? Do you remember?
Real quick, man. Guys in the chat with wrenches. You guys are deleting a lot of comments out there. Just take it easy. As long as they're not being disrespectful to anybody in the chat or anybody on the panel, you know, and it's not anything racist or anything crazy like that. Let's take it easy, guys. Okay.
Yeah, we don't punish people for being unintelligent. If you're not intelligent, it's okay. We can't hold that.
If it's that, or even if people disagree, if somebody comes here and says, "I think Margarito cheated," still, that's cool too. Like, you know, what I mean? We're not here to censor anybody. But look, I lost my train of thought. Well, I'll come back, man.
Sorry, man. I just wanted to get that out there because.
Oh, really cool. I remember now. So, do you guys remember when they said right before the bell rang, like, "Hey, there was a dispute in the back," and
yes.
It looks like Margarito had to get his hands rewrapped 3 times.
3 times. Remember that? Yes.
Okay, so I want to ask everybody this, and I want to ask Beeb this, and anybody listening. Okay, do you really believe Capatillo tried to insert plaster of Paris 3 times? You don't think there was more going on with the wrapping? You don't think that maybe there was just, you know, some other stuff going on? You don't think like this idea, right? Like, just think about this. If bricks had fallen out of the wraps, right, one time, like, are you kidding me? Like, do you not understand that the evidence would show that there was bricks, right? Like, are you telling me that there was a special padding that got hard and then didn't get hard? Is that what you're telling me? Because from my understanding, you could still bend the padding. It's bendable.
Here's my problem with
look at that brick.
Here's
you try to wrap it 3 times, bro. It had more to do with it was a lot of technicalities, which I'll give 100% credit to Richardson that he was a master at knowing all the rules and all the states and everything, right? Like he was like any little technicality. Nope, you got to start all over because that does mess with a fighter. So I'm not blaming Richardson for that, but the fact that he had to do it 3 times tells me that it had more to do than, oh, this big break fell out. I think it had more to do with, no, you're doing that wrong. Nope, you're doing that wrong. You're doing that wrong too. I think that's what it was more than anything.
He was in somebody's corner recently, wasn't he? I remember somebody asked him to come on and make sure that there was no foul play on the other side. I just can't remember which fight it was, but go ahead, Beeb.
So the same thing with Mikel Kessler when he was getting his hands wrapped in for the Andre Ward fight. He was putting tape on top of tape, which was just called stacking, which creates like a cast. Now, the word cheater gets thrown around a lot. His trainer in certain commissions, you can do that. Like if you fight in other countries, you could do that. You could put tape on top of tape. They allow you to do it. But you can't do it in a lot of commissions here in the United States. So the word cheater that gets thrown around so often. Oh, this guy's cheating. This guy's cheating. It's not cheating. I mean, just because something is done wrong, it doesn't mean they had the intent to cheat. It could be due to ignorance. The commission does make mistakes. We're not here to say the commission's perfect, but to sit there and always cry foul play every time something happens, like everyone's a cheater and people are taking backdoor deals and payoffs to help certain fighters over certain fighters. It's like all these conspiracy theories. I mean, it's ridiculous.
I mean, let me put it this way, right? If, like, let's take the Roman situation. If let's get as conspiratorial as possible, right? if I'm part of the commission and they slipped in a couple hundreds, right, to me, right? First of all, just keep in mind that if the commission reports that Roman's corner could get banned for life from the sport for trying to bribe. That's number one, okay? But let's say they pulled it off. Let's say they slid some hundreds to me and I put them in my pocket. Right. And I know that they're going to have some illegal gloves where there's no padding in them. Right. Let's just hypothetically say that. Why in the world would I place them on the table in front of the other corner who is allowed to look and hold and put on and inspect? Why on earth would I do that? Wouldn't I instead, all right, do what they did in the Dillian White fight, which is wait for the next day, do a switcheroo right after the hand wraps, okay? And then put on the illegal pair, already put them on there, and then tell them that, nope, you cannot check them anymore, right? Mm-hmm. Like that's what you would do in that case. You wouldn't give complete transparency and allow the other corner to inspect because the other corner, again, I need to repeat this, is part of the process, right? Like they're part of the process too. You know, everyone is part of the process. Both corners are part of the process, right? It's not all on the commission. It's on the 2 corners as well, right?
It just proves how hard it is to get the gloves past the commission or past the fighters or past the trainers and be able to go into the locker room because it didn't even make it out of the glove selection process. That just tells you how stringent the process is. And here's the whole thing about Fury too. Like, oh, Fury's a known cheater. How is he a known cheater? I'm going to make a confession. When I was 13 years old, I went into what's called a Medimart. We used to call them Medimarts. They're now Walgreens. I went into a Medimart and I stole like 5 Hershey bars. Am I a criminal because I stole 5 Hershey bars 10 years, 25, 30 years ago?
Kind of are.
Can I go to jail now? Does that mean I'm a felon?
Yeah,
Am I a serial thief now because I did that?
Here's
am I a serial thief because I did that 30 years ago?
Yeah, but can I say this? Look, Nasim Richardson was in like he didn't have any complaints about the wraps or the gloves of Fury. I mean, he was in a fighter's corner.
Yeah.
Right? Everybody keeps citing, if anyone's going to catch it, it's Nasim Richardson, right? Yeah. Nasim Richardson didn't see anything wrong with the wraps. No. And that fight was in New York, by the way, where they're more strict about the wrapping. That's how he got Trinidad, right?
Yeah.
So, like that fight's in New York at the Garden Theater, I believe, against Cunningham. He didn't find anything in that fight.
No.
Nothing wrong with the gloves. Nothing wrong with the wraps.
You couldn't find anything. There wasn't even a controversy. Nothing. All right. That's number one. All right. But now, here's the thing. I like to do this thing where I say, even if it's true, right? Let's say it's true. Let's say that Fury's a known cheater and all that. Okay, fine. Okay. So you had every opportunity to check the gloves. And I don't want to hear, but isn't that the commission's job? Look, they allow, what do you guys think? Like, just stop and think for a moment. Okay, please. Just put emotion aside for a moment and just stop and think for a moment. Why do you believe that they allow the other corner to sit there and check the wrapping, to check the gloves and the glove selection meeting? Why do you believe that the other corner is allowed to be there? That we don't put full trust in the commission? Okay? Like, there's supposed to be transparency between the both camps going into the fight, right?
The commission signs off on the wraps and they sign off on the gloves. So both Fury's wraps and his gloves was signed off on. So if there was something wrong, then either they missed it, or you're accusing them of knowingly allowing him to do something.
Yeah. But here's again, that doesn't work because people believe the commission's in on it, right? So that's not a good argument. I'm just letting you know right now. The argument to go by is the process involves his corner too. Diaz has to approve of it for them to sign it, right? The other corner is to say, okay, I'm good, right, while they inspect it for the commission to sign it. So there was no argument. There was nothing that I know of. Did a story come out that Diaz said he didn't like something, or that they didn't let him look at the gloves? Did anything come out like that?
No complaints at all.
I just want to know where the paper trail is for the payoff. That's all I want to know.
Well, if anybody got paid, it would have been Diaz, right? Because he was right there.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we understand that Bruce goes, and we're not trying to say that that's not true.
Okay, but I shoplifted 35, 40 years ago, but that doesn't mean that I go out and I embezzle funds out of a bank. It's not the same thing, is it?
It's like this, right? It's like this, right? Everybody keeps saying Margarito. Okay, how do we not know that Mosey wasn't cheating? And how do we not know he didn't have HGH in the system when he fought Margarito then?
Probably did.
Because he's a known cheater, right? And we're just going to do that about everybody. Okay, let's do it to everybody then. Okay, so I guess that's not a good. We don't know whether Mosey was cheating or not, right?
So because someone takes steroids, that means they put egg weights in their gloves. That's like this. What is the correlation between steroids and egg weights? I'm confused.
Yeah, and I mean, look, we know Bruce goes that he cheated, and we're not trying to say that situation.
And he was out of the sport for almost 3 years because of it.
Yes.
Yeah.
So
by the way, I think everyone here on the panel has criticized him for that. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Even Beeb, who's a Tyson Fury fan. You know,
but what does that mean? You know? So if a guy cheats at one point of his career, right?
Yeah.
So every time they win, then they're automatically guilty of cheating because they won. So we got to keep looking into it over and over again until we prove that he cheated. Is that the new the new way to do it, or what? Like, I'm just trying to understand what relevance that plays. Like the whole Bohr story. Like we knew about that, right? We knew about his suspension before they fought the first time. right?
Yeah.
We already knew all that. Like, what? Why is that being brought up now? But like, we knew about it. We knew about all these things before they fought the first time.
The guy lost 3 years of his career. He already did the time for the crime. I mean, what else? What else do you guys want? Do you want him banned for life? I mean, what do you want? In America, he would have been gone for 6 months.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, hey, some people feel that yes, you got to question them no matter what, and then but like here's the deal, right? He passed all the VADA tests, right? He got through the commission. Jay Diaz was there to inspect, who was part of Wilder's team, right? Like, what else do you want? Like, I just don't. I guess I don't know. Like, everything people are saying, like, oh, let's do a third fight, which. I'm not against a third fight, by the way, at all. I'm not against a third fight. Let's see it. I don't have a problem with it, right?
Yeah, we're good with that.
Two different topics, right? But everyone, I just keep hearing a lot of, oh, but this time we're going to check the wraps. This time we're going to check the gloves.
That always
this time we're really going to do drug testing. Like, all these things were already done. Like what exactly? Like, when people say, oh, this time we're really going to look at the gloves. You're already allowed to do that. You're already allowed to put them on. You're already allowed to inspect them. You're already allowed to do all these things. So when people say, oh, but in the third fight, he doesn't want a third fight because he knows this time Wilder's team's going to get to look at the wraps and inspect the gloves. Well, they were already allowed to do that. Like, that's already a thing. Like you're already at the glove selection meeting to look at the gloves and inspect them. You're already in the locker room, right? Here's another thing I was hearing. Oh, we're going to make sure that someone from Wilder's team is there when he's putting on the wraps and the gloves.
He's already there.
Because they turned off the camera and we were able to see nothing. Next time we'll make sure. Well, and then, okay, Diaz was there the whole time.
Yeah. And there's video of him there. There's videos.
It's been changed now. So we've gone from no one was there to see to, okay, Jay Diaz saw it, right? But he just didn't feel the gloves, right? Now the narrative has changed. We've gone from nobody who saw it to, okay, all right, fine. Jay Diaz saw, but he made a big mistake. He didn't touch the gloves. But I have one simple question. Have you noticed that Wilder never once said, and he can't say this because he'll get sued, right? He can't come out and say, oh, they didn't let our team inspect the gloves. They didn't let our team touch the gloves. They didn't let Jay Diaz properly inspect the gloves. Have you noticed that Wilder has not said any of that? He hasn't said any of that. All he has said is that Jay Diaz only looked at them. He didn't touch them. So he might be insinuating it, but he hasn't flat out said that they weren't allowed to touch them. Okay?
I mean, look, there he is right there watching. I mean, it's the fact that people are saying that this time they're gonna watch. This time they're gonna be doing this. I mean, it already happened.
Travel to the future. Is this a third fight? Oh, there you go, D's. Make sure you watch them.
Where's the egg weight? Where's the egg weight? I don't see it.
It's right there. You don't see it?
Where is it?
It's right there. It's in his hand.
Where's the egg
He's hiding it. He's hiding it under his cap.
Yeah, I mean, it's. I mean, and we got the pictures too of JD's standing there while
the glove is put on. Yes.
Yeah, while he's putting the glove on. You know, so I mean, he's either very incompetent or he's just fucking blind. You know, for him to sneak an egg weight in there like that. You know, with him standing right there.
Oh, by the way, let me just say, Snyder, to a cool. Hey, you could be suspicious all you want, but we're not saying that at all. Like, when have I said, "Oh, don't be suspicious"? Right? I never said that. I've never once have you heard me say, "I know for a fact that Margarito didn't cheat in the Cotto fight." I never said that.
All I know is the claims that were made against Antonio Margarito were greatly exaggerated. Can we at least agree upon that?
By far. Like,
he had bricks in his gloves. He had plastic fucking things in his gloves, plaster of Paris in his gloves. Everything was grossly exaggerated. That's my point.
Absolutely.
If the commission found something they did not like, who am I to question and tell them how to do their job? That's not what I'm here for. All I know is I was told 2 bricks fell out of this guy's gloves. When I hear that, I'm thinking cinder block type shit. I'm here when I hear plaster of Paris. I'm thinking of Iron Mike Sharp coming off the top rope with that fucking cast of a clothesline coming at somebody. That's what so all the shit that I was hearing, I was thinking that this guy practically had a friggin' metal club, a billy club in the ring with him going and walking down the aisle. Okay, so my whole argument is everything that was said was grossly exaggerated.
Plus, I keep hearing now, right? Oh, don't believe the media. New media now, because the media is lying. It's the old media, quote unquote, that was out here demonizing Margarito. It was the old media that came out with confidence saying this guy a plaster of Paris and stuff like that, and never bothered to do their job. Like, we had reporters that didn't bother doing any investigative work. They didn't even bother looking into it. They didn't even bother showing up to the court proceedings. They didn't bother doing any of that, aside from Doug Fisher and Gabriel Montoya, from my knowledge. There was a couple others, and I want to give them credit. I just don't know the names off the top of my head, right? But they were there. Like, you know what I mean? Like we just got to acknowledge that it was overly exaggerated.
I'm going to repeat it again. The way Gabriel Montoya was the only person that ever went in depth about this and explained it piece by piece.
We got to get Gabriel Montoya on here, man.
He explained it piece by piece by piece.
And I think we could all. Oh, go ahead.
He was the only guy that actually explained himself.
Can I say something? Should we take Dan Rafael's word for what happened with Margarito when
it's his opinion?
But this is the same guy, right? Like, let me put it this way, right? Like, he's over here talking about, the health and safety of the fighters, this and the third. This is the same guy who said, I wish they didn't stop the Vitaly Klitschko Briggs fight when they did, because I wanted to see this guy even longer in the hospital. Does that sound like a guy who cares about the health of fighters? Right?
No. And I think here's the question. And I mean, and 92 Akul, we know, okay, we know you well. But I think we can all agree on this. The title of the show says that Margarito had bricks in his raps. I mean, are you willing to still say that? I think most of us can say, look, there was no bricks. It was, like Beef said, it was greatly exaggerated, man. I think we could all agree to that. I mean, all three of us here on the panel do, and I think you guys in the chat can do the same. I mean,
understatement. Exaggeration is an understatement. Okay, there's people that believe that. Why? Because Nassim Richardson said it's like bricks fell out of the hand. You know what I mean? Okay.
He said he wanted to jump over and fight. He goes, man, I want to jump over the table and fight these guys, but I didn't want to ruin the fight with Shane.
All right, so they found that he had a dirty looking gauze that was harder than other gauze. Okay, but what does that mean? So something's dirty looking and it's harder than other gauze. Was it a foreign substance? Was anything that was used in that gauze, was it illegal? They're stating they didn't like the color of the gauze and they didn't like how hard it was. Does that mean it was friggin' bricks? It was plaster of Paris? What does that mean? What does that mean? That's their discretion.
Yeah, and Bruce goes, that link you just put right here. I played a piece of that audio on the last HCP Uncensored, where Shane said that he claims plaster of Paris, but that's not what was found in the laboratory, man.
It was gauze. It was gauze.
Yeah,
it was gauze.
He said
it was gauze. He got freaking investigated for using gauze that was too hard.
Yeah.
Is gauze illegal? Is gauze a foreign substance? It's not.
Yeah. And I think it's just I think the language that a lot of people hear about hand wraps and things like that it gets over exaggerated as well. Like when we hear things, oh, there was a cast. The hand was like a cast, and I mean that's honestly that's really the whole point of wrapping your hands before you put the gloves on. Like you want that thing to be as stiff as possible so you don't break your hand. They want that hand to stay in that position, so you can punch a guy over and over and over again. So it's supposed to be tight like that.
Why would Cali want to ban a money-making boxing star? What do you mean? Why would they want to ban a money-making? Because of all the pressure from the media, from for HBO and all the negative stories that were being written about Margarito. The guy was guilty before he was even given a chance to defend himself. No one believed him right from the beginning. Nothing, and anything that he said, any information that was going to come forward, no one was going to believe it. So they just followed suit. They just went along because they didn't want to be accused of, they didn't want to be thought of as being complicit in the supposed alleged foul play. That's why they did what they did.
Yep. And look, his own promoter, used it to make money. I mean, this guy got paid good money to fight Manny Pacquiao and Cotto in the rematch. So
can I play something really quick?
Sure, go ahead, man.
Just listen to listen to how Joe Rogan talks about this, okay? Just listen to the language that he uses.
This is how crooked the game was. He blinded Ali. Yeah, Cassius Clay. So Liston wasn't above, cheating. Aaron Pryor goes out and starches Alexis Arguello. They had a crazy war.
Let me forward
pull up his record because he did it to some like legit fighters. And really beat them up, and they were like, it didn't even make sense how hard he was hitting me, because he would put plaster of Paris apparently inside the wraps. And then Miguel Cotto, that's who it was. Yeah, right. And then Miguel Cotto beat the shit out of him in the rematch. And Sugar Shane Mosley beat the fuck out of him when they found this. See, after he knocked out Miguel Cotto, when he beat him up in the 11th round, he stopped him, and it was a horrible stoppage too. He beat the shit out of him. Then the Shane Mosley fight was the fight that he lost. That was the next fight, and during the wrapping of the gloves, Shane Mosley's camp was to go, what the fuck is in his wraps? They recognized it and had him re-wrap his hands, and then Shane Mosley beat his fucking ass. And then he beat Robert Garcia, and then Manny Pacquiao fucked him up, and then Miguel Cotto fucked him up. But the Miguel Cotto fight, the first one, it was bad. I mean, his face was busted up, and that's when people had suspicions, but they didn't know until they saw the wrapping of the gloves, and then they looked at every one of his fights before that, and they would go, "Oh, this motherfucker had plaster." Did you ever see the movie Bad City?
Okay, I think the point is made, but look, here's my thing. No one had suspicion. Nobody said, "Oh, something's up with that dude." Nobody had suspicion.
All facts. He had plaster. The cognitive dissonance is I feel bad, man. Therapy has to be administered to some people. The commission just said there was gauze that was discolored. Where in this statement does it say plaster of Paris?
There was never plaster of Paris.
Oh my God!
No. Wow. But what I'm trying to say is just listen to what he's saying. Like if it's
read these people in the chat.
We can't have revisionist history though. No one was suspicious of Margarito after the Cotto fight. It's all a bunch of bullshit. Me and B were actually two people that were on YouTube then, and no one did a video saying, "Oh, there's definitely something on the wraps," and whoever's saying that you're going to conveniently say it, but you have no receipts to prove it. So I don't want to hear anybody say, "Oh, I knew it," but you have no proof. Okay, I told my cousin. Like, that doesn't count. Okay, like that's number one. But second, nobody went back and said, "Oh man, totally." I mean, he was cheating, fight after fight after fight. After the Paul Williams fight, I knew something was up with this dude's raps. Said no one, dude. Come on.
No, look, here, I'm going to show you again. I did this again on the last video that we made last week. Look, this is after 9 rounds of fighting with a guy who supposedly had plaster of Paris. I mean, he doesn't even have a cut on his face. Look. Look at his face. His nose is bleeding. But after all those hits, all those punches that Margarito landed, not one cut on the outside of his face.
Right.
If I go now, I'm going to do this again. I'm going to go and I'm going to show you guys the second fight, because the second fight was stopped in the 9th round, which is the reason why I used the 9th round here. The second fight was stopped in the 9th round, and you're going to see that Cotto's face was more busted up after that fight than it was right here in the first fight. And we know that there was nothing in those gloves. The second fight, nothing in those wraps. Nothing. Let me just pull it up real quick. But yeah, it's I mean, I understand it's a process, for you guys. It's, and again, maybe you guys will come to understand where we're coming from eventually.
Let me play another one really quick.
Check this out, guys. Look at this. I'm going to show you again. This is as the fight is getting ready to be stopped. Cotto is standing up and looking at the other side. Oh, come on. Can you guys see that?
There's no share screen, too funky.
Can you hear me?
Yes, but there's no share screen.
Okay, I'm sorry, man. I'm having some technical issues here with this internet. Go ahead and play what you got, D-Style.
All right. Just listen.
You hit somebody with concrete gloves on. And needless to say, they made him rewrap it. And we know the rest of the history with that when it came to Trinidad versus Bernard Hopkins. I was a big Trinidad fan and still am. But honestly, it broke my heart, man, when he lost to Bernard Hopkins. But Bernard did the right things, and he beat Felix Trinidad, gave him his first loss. But then, as you see, that Nazim broke down the Margarito hand wraps. Wow. And that's the plaster of Paris right there all day long. So what do you think about Nazim Richardson?
Like, this is, here's what's happening, okay? For 10 years, you've been hearing over and over again, right? Over and over again, you've been hearing
bricks,
right? Bricks,
plaster of Paris,
plaster of Paris. So I'm not expecting anyone to just listen to this video and say, oh, okay, I changed my mind. No, I'm expecting resistance. You know how I know that? Because I had resistance. Okay, I would say Gabriel Montoya. Here he goes. He's just a fanboy of Margarito and just dismissing everything he says, right? But when I actually looked into it myself and I started thinking about it, started to piece it together, right? Even being skeptical, the first thing I said to myself was, it's nowhere near, even if he cheated, it's nowhere near what they're claiming at all, right? But you've been hearing over and over again, plaster of Paris. There was no plaster of Paris. They never proved that it was plaster of Paris, guys.
The gauze was hard and discolored. What do you expect when you take the fucking gloves off after being wet, and then you go bring them to a lab and you let them sit? What's gonna happen? Are they gonna get softer?
Yeah. But they weren't bricks though. This idea that they're bricks is laughable. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Okay. Maybe Nazim remembers it that way. We'll give him the benefit of the doubt. But this idea that a brick fell off, poof, just think about how ridiculous that sounds.
He took two infinity gauntlets in the ring with him that night. That's what happened.
He grabbed them and took them to Shane. And till this day, Shane cannot say, oh yeah, there were definitely bricks, right?
Yeah.
I mean, just think about that. You don't confuse a brick. You know what I mean? That's not something you confuse. I'm sorry. But again, it is what it is, right? If you want to be suspicious of Margarito, I'm perfectly okay with that. But people got to drop the plaster of Paris thing, because that's definitely not at all what happened.
Bricks and plaster of Paris. No.
Yeah.
Nothing. This is nothing remotely close to Louis Resto situation. Not at all.
At all.
Exactly. Sorry, guys. I was having some issues here with Google Chrome. I had to restart it. But I'm going to go ahead and show you this image here of Miguel Cotto at the time of the stoppage of against Margarito in the rematch, but you could clearly see that his face looks more marked up in the second fight. And again, we know that those wraps were checked like crazy in that fight. I mean, look at that face. Look. There's a lot more marks on that face than in the first fight. And again, after 9, in the first fight with quote-unquote sledgehammers, like Jim Lampley said, this guy didn't have one cut on his face. Yeah, he didn't have one cut on his face.
Look, another exaggeration, okay? This kind of, you know what, Lampley? Why don't you go ask Manny Pacquiao if Margarito's punches hurt? Till this day, he says that's one of his toughest fights. Like one of his most like physically taxing fights. He hurt himself. Pacquiao's ribs.
Yeah, Pacquiao said himself when they asked him about defending his belt that he had at 154 pounds after that fight. He said, I'm amazed that I made it out of that fight. Like those are exactly his words.
You know what it was? And I'm man enough to admit it, okay? I wanted to give Margarito no credit. Okay, so I just convinced myself that it was an easy fight for Pacquiao. But if you go back and you watch it, that was not an easy fight. Okay, it became uncomfortable to watch in the last couple of rounds where they should have stopped it. That I will say, but that was after a very taxing, fight, right? And Beeb, correct me if I'm wrong. I know we've talked about this before. Okay, the eye damage started in the first Cotto fight.
Correct.
Pacquiao made it far worse, obviously, but his eye was damaged, and I believe there was reports about the eye. Okay, after the Cotto fight.
Yeah, he had a severe corneal abrasion,
right?
Corneal ulcers. Yeah.
92 AK, I want to address your comment. Now, again, there's an interview on the Leave It in the Ring network where you can watch where they interviewed Margarito after all this. The man said that he was badly dehydrated, couldn't make the weight anymore at 147. And to say that he was losing every round whatsoever. I mean, look, that Cotto fight, that rematch, he was coming on strong. Like now, he didn't want that fight to be stopped. He was literally yelling at the doctor, like, nah, let me continue. Like, this guy doesn't hit hard. Let me continue. But it was the fact that his eye had already got damaged the fight before.
First of all, the guy had a style where he took a lot of damage.
Yeah.
Okay? So, of course, as time goes on, he's not going to get better. He's only going to get worse.
Yes.
I mean, what do you expect?
It's like Mayorga, right? Mayorga's taking all these big shots from Vernon Forrest, right? And then he starts getting stopped by everybody after a while. Like, you just can't fight that style forever. Like a body's fight night. You know what I mean? But I want to play this really quick. It's really quick. Listen to this.
Title? No, give it to the never mind. That's too much for me.
What did it feel to be hit by? A 154-pounder? And do you feel like that makes it so fighting these welterweights doesn't feel?
It's different. It's different. Amazing. I survived that fight. I mean,
he was a lot heavier too after the weight.
The night of the fight, I was 148 pounds, and Margarito 165 pounds.
There you go.
That's why with the WBC, the commission asked me, "Are you going to defend your title?" No, never mind. Give it to them.
Okay, now the way people say it, right? Styles make fights, guys. Like, who had an easier time with Margarito, Mosley or Pacquiao? Mosley, right? Mm-hmm. Who won between Pacquiao and Mosley? Pacquiao. Okay, it's a stylistic thing. Like Mosley explains it himself. There's recent interviews where he says, "Hey, you know what? I grew up in Pomona, sparring Mexican fighters. Like I know them in and out. Like, you know what I mean? Like I know how to fight a style like Margarito. All right." So, like, I'm just saying, like, you have to kind of take that into account. Like, you know what I mean? And Mosley himself says, I knew Margarito was going to give Cotto problems because Cotto wasn't used to fighting he didn't grow up fighting that style of fighter. All right? This is what, like, they've asked Mosley in a more recent interview. I'm trying to look for it. Okay, if we don't get it, then I'll share a link later.
Hey,
But
92 AKU, if you want to jump on, man, you're more than welcome to jump on and talk with us about this, man.
And by the way, I'm not even mad. Like, I welcome questions because you're
Yes.
supposed to be able to answer questions or
Yes.
concerns or anything people bring up. But at the same time, you have to acknowledge the answers. I'm giving you answers.
So
right?
all you have to do is look at the Paul Williams fight with Margarito. Look at that. I mean, did he have loaded gloves then? How did Paul Williams beat him in that fight?
How'd he make it out of there?
He was losing rounds back then. He was losing rounds to Cotto. He always lost a lot of rounds. He never friggin' blew anyone out of there at the top level. He was always in tough fights. I mean, what are you talking about? He always lost rounds. He lost rounds even before the Cotto. Cotto was winning that fight before he got
Cotto
stopped.
was landing flush combinations on Margarito the first half of that fight. I mean, flush shots.
So is it a coincidence? No, it's normal happenstance, to be honest with you, because he always lost rounds. It's not.
Yeah.
Is it a coincidence that he lost? No, it's not a coincidence. It's normal. It's called normalcy. The guy always lost rounds. Guy was never a master boxer.
Yeah. And he always showed a granite chin. And I mean, again, in that Cotto fight, he was getting hit with flush combinations. Cotto was boxing well early. He was moving around, keeping Margarito's feet moving, wasn't letting him get planted so he could let his shots off. And he was landing crisp combinations. I mean, I remember the fight party that I was at, people were like, God damn, I don't know how this fucking guy could take this many punches. Like, I don't know how he's still standing. Like, he got hit with a ton of shots in that fight. He got hit with a ton of shots against Mosley. I mean, and again, it's a style thing with Mosley. So it is what it is. But again,
All right,
92 AKU, if you want to come on, I'll send you an email. Just let me know, man.
Let me play this part. Just listen to Mosley here, okay?
I say I put most of the blame on the coach because the coach knows better than that.
Mhm.
He knows what I can do to another fighter,
Yeah.
And Margaret's fought too, but most of it should go to the coach.
Now, what goes through your mind when you hear that? Like, he has some weird stuff going on with his hand wraps going into the fight. What goes through your mind?
Well, I really didn't think much about it because with the way I trained so hard with so many people that I felt that I don't care what he does.
Yeah,
nothing's
gonna stop him.
I'm gonna knock him out. I'm gonna beat him. You know what I'm saying? And I knew because I was in the ring sparring with Librado Andrades and his brother Enrique Arnelas, both brothers, and they was 190, 180. And they're strong.
Yeah.
And a few other fighters I had in there that was pretty big. Steve, what's the name? Just other fighters that were top level and were pretty big. And I knew that Margarito wouldn't be able to match my speed, power, anything, And I think that I have much of a better advantage fighting West Coast type of fights because I grew up here in the West Coast. And that's what I was explaining to a lot of the people when I fought him. I said, well, his style is complementary to what I know.
Yeah.
Mexican style boxing. You know what I'm saying? That's what I can do, So I wasn't afraid, but when he fights people outside, like maybe like Cotto or somebody else, they have more difficulties, more problems because with that style because they never seen it before. And it's difficult, like Chavez and all that stuff. But I grew up in that. So you can't use that same style with me.
There you go.
Yeah. I mean,
does that sound reasonable? Can that explain why, he had an easier time with Margarito than Cotto and Pacquiao did?
I think so.
Yes.
And he even said that again later on a Fight Hype interview I seen where supposedly there was a rumor that he was going to fight Margarito again. And he's like, well, I had no knowledge of that, but he's like, I just don't think that's a good idea for him because, my style is all bad for him. And not only that, he's got a bad eye now. So,
and 92 cool. It's all good, bro. I know you're not saying he's guilty. You're asking questions, and that's fair. I'm okay with that.
We're good with that, bro. We don't mind when people have a difference of opinion here. This is not fucking boxing ego where if someone disagrees, like, get this fucker out of here, block him, delete him, get him out. Like, no, we don't do shit like that around here, man. This is HC fucking P uncensored, all right? We talk about all the tough topics. We don't mind having people disagree with this.
But just in general, I know what he's doing. He's just asking questions that he wants answers to. It's all good.
Yep. So, I mean, I thought I was going to have a few more people jump on. No Paul asked for a
It's
link.
all good, bro.
Yeah, I don't know where he's at.
We're good. Don't worry about it. We're
Yeah.
good.
No, I was just waiting because I think he wanted to chime in on the topic. But
Oh, no,
I don't
Paul.
s-
Yeah, he
yeah,
asked to come on. You know what I mean? Come on, no, Paul.
Yeah, and I don't see him, and I don't know. Maybe the Taco Bell Wi-Fi kicked in again. I don't know. Um, but I think we've done this.
Anyway,
Yeah, I think we've done this thing some justice here, man. And you know, I think we can all agree, man, with the evidence according to the court documents, according to the laboratories of the Department of Justice of California. You know, I think we all can agree that there was no bricks in this man's raps, none whatsoever. So we'll move on, man. And I got a question here for you guys about the big fight this weekend, man. The AARP heavyweight title on the line. I don't know whatever you guys want to call it. Tyson.
I'm not gonna
versus
lie,
Jones.
man. Like I'm feeling those butterflies right now, man. I wasn't feeling them, but now I'm feeling them. You know what I mean?
Oh man, I'm not gonna ask for you guys' picks, but I want to ask: do you guys think that this fight is it good for boxing or is it bad for boxing, man? What do you guys think?
Good. I mean, it's indifferent. Like, how does it hurt boxing? Like, it's not interfering with any of the fights. It's not like Tyson is getting a title shot or something. You know what I mean? It's not It's not an eliminator. It's not interfering with boxing at all, really. You know what I mean? It's not doing anything to boxing. I mean, in all honesty, even if it's a flop, I mean, boxing itself, you know, it's not going to suffer from it or even gain anything out of it, to be honest with you. It's a novelty. You know what it is? It falls more on the entertainment side, you know, like a movie, a blockbuster movie or something, you know, something like that. You know, it's I don't really associate it with the sport of boxing. It's more of an entertainment. You know what I mean? That's all.
Tyson's back, baby. He's back.
It's
Tyson's back.
Sports entertainment, baby. You know what I mean?
He's coming to eat children.
Oh, boy.
How dare you challenge him with your impotent skills?
We got Gano Local Sports in the chat. A lot of great interviews on the channel, guys. Check it out, by the way.
Yeah, make sure you
Tyson.
subscribe to Kano Local. Good interviews there. So
Beeb is, he's Beeb Loco. You know what I mean? Like that's Beeb.
Tyson's back in full effect.
I love it, man. I don't. People saying it's bad for the sport and all that. I don't know, man. How I need it to explain to me how it's hurting the sport of boxing that Tyson and Jones are having an exhibition fight. Like I don't know how that hurts the sport. To be honest,
this is the fight of the year right now.
I don't know about that, but
B, what do you think, man? Do you think it does? Does it have any impact on a sport, good or bad? What do you think, man?
This is bringing back the heavyweight division, man. This is bringing back the heavyweight division.
Here's what I'll say. I mean, I don't know if it'll necessarily hurt boxing, but I think what hurts me is the fact that there's more people interested in this fight than some of the other great fights that we've had this year. I mean, I can't even begin to tell you guys how many casuals are jamming me up about this fight. You know, they're like, you know, when's the fight? When are they fighting? And you know, I need to see that thing. And I'm just like, man, we've had a lot of good fights this year, and you weren't interested in none of those fights. You know, like that.
Can't wait for this fight, man. I just can't wait for this fight. I'm ready to explode waiting for this fight.
Nopal. What is that? A picture of Pancho Villa? Is that who you got there? Pancho Villa or what?
Nah, man, that's a picture of me, bro. That's a picture of me, bro.
Emiliano Nopal. That's who it is.
No, that's a Pancho Villa, bro. That's Pancho.
Okay. Yeah, I kind of figured that, man. Just by looking at the image real quick. But what's on your mind, bro? You got something you want to talk about?
Nah. I mean, I just showed up and you guys are basically already talked about all the topics, huh?
I mean, the meat of the show was the Margarito having bricks in his raps. I mean, do you want to touch on that?
Well, the only thing I didn't hear you guys touch on is, it was the corniest moment of that was at the end when what's his name, Max goes to Cotto and says, "And man, I saw the way you were looking at Margarito at the end. You looked at his face straight out. What were you trying to tell him with all that?" And I mean, not those exact words, but you get what I'm saying. He was like, I just wanted to look in his face and let him. I forget what Cotto said, but I thought that was corny as hell. Like, they put this whole thing, they made this
I wanted
charade up.
to taste the victory.
Yeah, they made this charade up, bro. Everybody and their mama knows that. What's his name was coming back, Margarito. What was it, like the 8th round? They were like,
I'll tell you right now, man. Do I believe Cotto believes that Margarito cheated? I do believe it, because boxers have big egos, and if you give any boxer like a reason to believe that, hey, they cheated you. You didn't really lose. They cheated you. Most boxers fall for that, to be honest with you. I mean, like look at Cintron, right? He jumped right on it. Yeah, I knew all along. William Joppy, till this day, says that he knows Trinidad cheated him. You know what I mean? Like every fighter just jumps on the bandwagon, right? De La Hoya, what did he do when he wrote like a little article saying, yeah, I think I was cheated by Shane Mosley, actually. Now that you mention it, yeah, I think he did cheat, in the fight against me.
but he never said nothing about the steroids, though, right?
Yes.
He did?
Yeah.
Well, De La Hoya, yeah.
Okay, yeah.
He basically said, De La Hoya did an article. I don't know if you remember this, Beeb or Chief Monkey, but he wrote an article saying that the Pacquiao, Mosley, and Vargas's punches felt different, and now he knows why. You know what I mean?
Wow.
So yeah.
Damn. Yeah.
92 cool. What's up, bro?
Yeah. Oh, shoot. Our boy is here. What's up? 92 AKU.
Hey, what up, guys?
So let us know what's on your mind, man. I know things can be a little, interpreted the wrong way in the chat, man. So let us know what's on your mind about Margarito.
Yeah, no, I was just like D-Cell said, I was just asking questions, just pointing out. I read that article when you guys started talking about this. I was like, let me do some research on this. And then I read that that official document. It was pretty interesting. It's pretty cool topic.
Yeah, the findings aren't exactly what we all were told they were. Again,
True.
bricks. We were told bricks, blocks, what have you, and that's just not the case at all, man. So I mean, that's why I put in the title "Debunked," because we're going to debunk the whole thing that he had blocks. I mean, that's just not the truth. And I mean, I showed the picture of the wraps. I mean, if that's a brick, then I mean, that's I don't know. Maybe I get my vision checked or something. But go ahead, bro.
You're right. There was no found substance. They didn't say what substance it was. That's the thing. They didn't say what it was. So we're all like, what the fuck? What is it or isn't? We want to know, did he cheat or didn't he? So now it could be like Ringside Reporter said, it could be the wraps. It could be how much did he put too much? The way he wrapped it. Did they put too much tape? We don't know what exactly, but we know he violated a rule.
Yes, because you can't have wet substance or wet wrap or something like that, because apparently that's what they said, it was wet at the time of the findings. So
I don't know what that foreign substance was. I want to know what that was.
I agree. I mean, look, we definitely need answers, but it looks like they didn't pursue anything and they just let it kind of die, and just moved on. But I do believe we need answers for sure.
But they allowed the HBO to do their thing, huh?
Oh yes, they did. Yeah. But that was also part of that was a part of Top Rank also.
HBO went wild with that.
Yeah, wow. I mean, I gotta admit, after watching that face-off for that rematch between Cotto and Margarito, I was like, okay, I want Cotto to fuck this dude up. Like that's the way I was thinking at the time.
Yep, of course.
They did a great job of turning him into the heel and Cotto into the baby face. Run PMC says the only reason this fight hurts boxing is because the UFC is pushing propaganda saying boxing needs Tyson Jones to survive. That was going to be the next question I asked you guys. Like, if this let's just say hypothetically, this pay-per-view outperforms all the pay-per-views this year, and we still got one more left this year with Spence Garcia. What does that really say about boxing? If two guys in their 50s can come back and have an exhibition and do better numbers than Wilder Fury, than Santa Cruz Davis, the Charlo brothers.
It doesn't say anything. It just says that our boxing legends have a big name, because if that'll mean that it'll outsell the UFC too, right?
Probably.
So, like, it's not like they did it too, dude. Like, what do you like they brought back, Hoyce Gracie to fight, but the only difference is they put him in there with a prime Matt Hughes, right? They did it with Kent Shamrock. The only difference, like, Kent Shamrock was like almost as old as Mike Tyson is right now, but the only difference is that they put him in there with like a prime Tito Ortiz. That's the only difference.
They're saying that Deontay Wilder, Tyson Fury did it in between 800,000 and 850,000 pay-per-view buys. So,
if you count it the way the UFC does, it did like 1.8 if you count the UK pay-per-views. But hey,
if you really think about it, I mean, all it says, if you look a little more deep into it, is that the guys managing UFC and all that, the guys that aren't fighting, they're the ones that make most of the money. When UFC gets to that point where they're paying their guys the same amount and the promoters are making as little as the boxing, well, not saying that these guys are broke, but I'm just saying the pay scale is way different. So when they get to the point where they start paying their guys what they deserve, then we'll talk. You know what I mean? Then we'll compare boxing to MMA, and we'll see if they can generate as much as us. Granted, right now they got a lot more stars than we do, but I mean, we're still doing our thing, and we should never look at MMA like, these guys are doing better. No, because it ain't like that. It's two different things, and they got their thing going, we got our thing going, and I don't know. If Dana White was a real badass, he'd get in the ring with Oscar De La Hoya, because the real motherfucker won't let another guy talk to him. And I remember the days when Dana White used to brag that he was a real boxer. When he wanted to beat up on Tito Ortiz, it was like, yeah, I used to beat him up, whatever, because I know about boxing, and I could throw the gloves up and sock people around. So if he wants to go back to those days where he wants to say that again, why does he need to do that with Oscar? And that's what I got to say about that.
All right,
go ahead, Beeb.
So say Fury's starting to turn into a recognizable name here in America, man. For him to be able to do 800,000 pay-per-view buys or 850,000 pay-per-view buys with Deontay Wilder, that says something.
That's a pretty good number there that those guys did. I was expecting that fight to go over 1 million. Didn't quite make it there. I was expecting it to. Yeah,
I wasn't sure if it was going to go over 1 million.
I mean, most of the guys on this thing were saying it was going to hit 2 million, 1.5. I thought I myself said it was going to do about 450K, at the most, and that was the rematch. Yeah. But I mean, that wasn't that far off. But you know what I mean? He is. He's been on WWE. I mean, what do you expect? The dude's an international star. Of course, he's going to sell good, and his next fight's probably going to do. It might even crack into the million. Of course, I
had a lot of people jamming me up about that rematch, and so many people were excited about it that, I'm usually the guy in the group that gets the fights because I'm the boxing guy, but there was somebody else that was willing to buy it and host it. So, I mean, and he invited people that I didn't know, so I was like, man, there's quite a lot of interest in this fight, and I was thinking it was going to go at least 1 million or over. We're just a little bit shy though, but what do you guys think, man? I'm swinging around the panel. What do you guys think this fight does as far as pay-per-view goes? D-Style, you go first. Oh, D-Style dropped out as soon as I said that. So, hey, B, what do you think, man? What do you think this does, Tyson versus Jones?
I'm going to say 700,000.
Damn,
that's a nice number. That's a nice number, man, 700. But, man, I might have to go around the same, man. I'm going to say
700.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of interest in this fight, man. And as
Mike Tyson, man.
Yeah, Mike Tyson was huge in the 90s.
Okay, yeah.
Jones, go ahead, 90s. Go ahead.
Yeah, sorry about. Yeah, I didn't see. I wasn't following boxing around Mike Tyson or Jones.
Really?
Yeah.
How old are you, bro? You younger than me? 92 AKU?
28.
Oh Shit, you're a baby, bro.
Yeah. I mean, I got that Mike Tyson game though. That Mike Tyson on Super Nintendo. Shit was fire.
Yeah, yeah. Well, the first one was the shit, man. The Punch Out on
Knockout,
the
huh?
original Nintendo
Punch
was the
Out.
shit.
Oh, okay.
No, Paul, what do you think, man? What do you think these numbers do, man?
Man, I think that's a good ass number right there, 700. But I'm gonna give it a range of between 650 at the lowest. I'm gonna get a range, bro. I'm gonna give it a range of 650 at the lowest and 1.2 at the highest. And
Jesus, that's a big ass. That's a big ass range.
How's that a big ass range?
That's a big ass range. How much do you make a year, bro? Well, I make in between 10,000 and $1 million. Figure it
Tell
out.
me that's not a good range, though.
That's a big range, kid.
No, I mean it's a good range. It's a safe
All right,
range.
I'll take the range.
Yeah.
If they had a line for that,
What do you think, man? What's your numbers, bro? What do you think?
How much is it going to be priced? Like $40?
$50, man. It's a
Oh,
bargain,
$50.
bro. $50.
I don't know. I think around Tank did around 200, so I'd say around 300 at the most.
Jesus, that's it.
Oh man, come on, 92. You're gonna
Yeah,
do us
man.
like that?
You think all
Give
these
us a range. Give us a range, bro. Give us a good
Oh,
range.
he loves the range. He loves the range.
I'm not gonna give you a
Loves
range.
the
but
range.
within 500,000, but I'll give you a smaller range. I'd say
Smaller range.
250 to like 350 at the most.
Jesus.
Damn.
Oh, that's a pretty small range right there.
Yeah, well, because I believe that because not all the boxing fans are hyped for this fight.
Well, it's not about us, brother. It's about the casuals.
I'm
Like
hyped
your
for this
mom,
fight.
your dad, and all these people that are asking about the fight. My damn grandma only knows Canelo and also Mike Tyson. Those are the two boxers that she knows, and she's asking me about this fight. So it's not really about us. It's about the casuals.
I'm going to make
I
a
don't know,
controversial statement right now. You love when I do it. You love when I preface that G Funky.
Oh, yeah.
Hey,
Here it comes.
B, do it in Teddy Atlas mode.
Okay. I'm going to make a controversial statement right here. I think Mike Tyson's probably the most second popular boxer of all time, behind Muhammad Ali.
Ooh.
Yeah, I would have to agree with you.
Can we agree with that?
I would have to agree with you.
I can't agree with it because we all grew up in that era. So it would be biased me to accept that. But in spirit, I agree with you.
You can be biased and be true at the
biased.
same time. You can be biased and true at the same time.
Hey, G-Funk, who was that guy on The Sopranos who said, I agree in spirit, but, you know.
Oh
God! Now you're really testing my memory.
Everybody knows who Mike Tyson is in the whole world. You could go anywhere in the world. You could go to a place that only has windmills and has solar energy in the boondocks, and they'll still know who Mike Tyson is.
Tyson is very popular, man.
You can go to a place where they still milk cows to get their milk, and they'll still know who Mike Tyson is.
Yeah, but he is like 55 though. You got
doesn't matter, man. He's immortal. He's Mike Tyson. He's immortal.
Iron Mike, bro.
And look, I'll give you another example why I think it's gonna go low, because just like movie superstars, you know, when movie superstars, like when they have new action movies, people don't go, like, they're not gonna go check out the new Rambo like it was back then. You know what I mean?
Do you think more people in the world know who Mike Tyson is over Floyd Mayweather?
Yeah,
I think so.
I'm gonna say yes.
I think so. Yeah.
But are they going to pay $50 to watch him fight?
Listen.
Well, not everybody's going to pay that amount, bro. Most people are going to go see it somewhere.
I'm going to stream it.
1 out of 10 people are going to want to buy it.
I'm not going to buy it. I'm going to stream it.
You got to support Mike, man. You got to support Mike. Yeah, come on, Aku, please.
Come on, 92. You're sounding like the LDBC now, bro. I'm going to stream it. Come on, bro. Don't do that to us over here.
This shit.
I'm going to say this, man. I think B put a pretty, I'm going to say safe number, because I think this thing is going to do $1 million. I do. And the reason why I say that is because Jones, once he started fighting on pay-per-view regularly, he was in the 400s at the highest when he was carrying the bill. Tyson was doing over $1 million on his own for years. I mean, years. And him and Holyfield, they had the record for a couple years until, I think they held the record for 3 years for the highest number of pay-per-views until Trinidad De La Hoya broke that number 3 years later.
here's what people don't realize too. When Mike Tyson was fighting, direct TV and Dish, they weren't really big back then. So now, like if you were to like Floyd Mayweather's day, when a lot of people did have direct TV and Dish, and it became big, his pay-per-view numbers would have done a lot better.
Yep. And this is the social media era, so I mean, there's a lot more people that are going to know that. I mean, I'm telling you, I'm getting jammed up by a lot of people, man. They're really interested in this thing, man. So, I mean, like I said, Jones, I believe when he fought his biggest fight, I want to say, as far as pay-per-views go, was John Ruiz, the quiet man, John Ruiz, and that did in the 400,000 buys. And like I said, Tyson was, I mean, million after million after million after million pay-per-view buys. I mean, even after he was in prison for 3 years, I think, came out to fight a guy that nobody knew him, Peter McNeely, and that thing did over 1 million. So Tyson is must-see TV. Go ahead.
Guess who's carrying this fight? Xfinity, Cox, DirecTV, Xfinity, Cox, DirecTV, Spectrum, Verizon, and Dish.
Oh, Cox! What the hell is that?
I don't want to get too vulgar about what Cox is, but
COX, bro, COX.
COX,
like Dewey Cox.
You got order that from Pornhub or what?
No.
I think they're owned by the same company. As,
I think they're owned by X.
I
think they're owned by X Videos.
Yo, guy, I apologize, man. My laptop froze. So.
It's all right, man.
Oh, that's all right. So
you never have to say sorry, man.
So before we wrap this thing up, D-Style, because I know Beeb's getting tired. He's all the way over in Massachusetts, man. It's getting late, man.
Plus, I'm 51 years old, man.
But Beeb's okay, man. He asked for the whole week off, so he's good.
He's coming on for as a favorite to me, so it's all good. You know what I mean?
I love coming on this show.
Beeb, you're welcome anytime. Just as like 92 at KU, no Paul, and D-Style is my main man. So
I don't know about 92 Oku, but everybody else is.
I'm like that person. If you tell me I'm welcome every time, I'll be at your house every night for dinner, man, at the door.
Hey, Uncensored is an open forum, man. So, anytime, bro. And I think 92 AKU, I think he's taking shots at you, D-Style. Look, he got the In-N-Out burger fries right there.
In-N-Out. Oh,
let me tell you something, brother. Let me tell you something, bro. You see, I was cool with everything, but let me tell you something I'm not going to accept is that In-N-Out is in any way, shape, or form better than Whataburger. I would never accept that.
I've never had Whataburger, man, so I can't speak on it.
Do they have In-N-Out? Do they have In-N-Out in El Paso, D-Style?
No.
Good point.
We don't have it out here either.
Yeah, isn't that a bunch of bullshit right there? They don't have an In-N-Out right here.
Knows about it, right, Punky?
It's a California thing, mostly, I think.
Yeah, I believe
they have it in Vegas too. They have it in Vegas. It's a West Coast thing.
All I gotta say is, every In-N-Out you go to, if you try to drive anywhere around that neighborhood, the thing is packed all the way around the block, bro. You try to get a burger, you're in line for like 20 minutes.
Don't go there for lunch, man. Lunchtime, it's fucking crazy.
I'm not a big burger guy. I'm not crazy about burgers.
And
what do you like? What like subs? What do you like, B?
Cano Loco agrees.
I used to like steak, but my cholesterol is a little high, so I'm just.
Oh yeah, Whataburger. They do have it out there in Florida. See, Florida, they got the shit together. Not like Cali, bro. They got the shit together over there.
Is Whataburger? Is that like Wahlburgers? You ever go to Wahlburgers?
No.
Okay.
It's like nothing. If you
Bob, do we have it out here too? I think we do.
No, you don't. No, that's just no. You guys don't know about Whataburger.
We don't even got that other one. In fact, from Kumar's.
Let me tell you something. Let me just say this really quick.
We don't even got White Castle.
No, we don't have White Castle. That's an East Coast thing.
Let me say this really quick. Quote: I don't like burgers. Unquote. Has said no one that's gone to Whataburger. Okay, so that's it.
All right.
Yeah, we probably don't need it out here because we got fresh avocados. And California burgers are the best, bro.
Simon Guesti.
Back in the day when I just ate whatever I wanted to eat. You know what my favorite stuff used to be?
What?
Chinese buffets. I used to go to Chinese buffets,
man,
I used to wipe them out, man. When they used to see me coming, they added on like 4 extra chefs in the back. They knew what was going on.
Hey, did you pull that move where you go to the bathroom for a little bit and come back with the empty stomach again.
You know what he was
never
doing?
do
He
that.
was smoking leños before he walked in, bro.
Back in the day when I was 280, I could destroy a buffet.
Damn.
Woo, man. I know I had my
Especially
days
on the
too,
empty
man.
stomach, huh?
Yeah.
What's the Massachusetts thing? If it's not burgers, what is it? Subs or pizza?
Hot dogs.
No, a lot of pizza. We got a lot of Italians in Massachusetts. Pizza's a big thing.
Probably like a Reuben sandwich or something.
I'm gonna tell you right now, there's one thing that sucks in El Paso. It's definitely pizza. Okay,
Really?
when Pizza Hut tastes better than the local pizzerias, you know you got a problem. Okay,
You know what else?
I mean, a bunch of Mexicans put in monster cheese on a pizza, and they think that they're gonna pass it on as a pizza. Come on.
You know what else? Before I went in the military, you know what I did before I went in the military? Because I knew I wasn't going to be able to do it for a long time. I went down to KFC, right? Well, I got a bucket of chicken. I destroyed it. I ate a whole bucket of KFC before I went in the military.
Man,
I wiped it out. You know another thing? Here's another Beeb classic.
This is uncensored, baby. Go ahead.
Here's another Beeb classic. Baby back ribs.
From Chili's, huh? From Chili's?
No. Floramos, daddy. Best of all time.
Oh, I remember that place.
Chili's. You were thinking of the song?
Baby back ribs. Beef said, I want that real barbecue, huh?
I know, we Mexicans, that's where we have baby back ribs at Chili's.
Kano, you know where Blue Hill Ave is in Mattapan? Oh my God, he knows where Blue Hill Ave is. Are you from Massachusetts too? He can't be from Massachusetts, is he?
Who?
That's a good question.
Kano
Loco.
Florida. I don't know if he's from Florida, but I know he lives in Florida.
Oh, okay. He knows where Blue Hill Ave is in Mattapan.
Beeb, you're in the East Coast. Have you been to Coney Island and had the Nathans out there?
No, but we do have Nathans out here, though. We do have Nathans out here.
I love Nathan's, man. That's one of the places I really want to go. Like that's like a bucket list thing, man. To go to Coney Island and
Come
get.
on, man.
to the
What
hot
about
dog, man.
Wiener Dog? What's it called? Wiener
Dog.
Kano used to live in Mattapan, baby.
Yeah.
He's a G. He used to live in Mattapan.
Yeah, Kano's all over the place, huh? That boy's on the East Coast.
You can't live in Mattapan unless you're official.
He said murder pan. Murder pan.
What are they?
Absolutely.
Kano, you remember Four Corners in Dorchester?
Now we're going down memory lane.
You know what? Kano Loco and Beeb Loco need to do a collab.
D-Style, I want to get your number, man. What do you think that Tyson versus Jones does pay-per-view wise, man?
You know what? I don't think it's going to be that high for two reasons, okay? One, it's going to be, like, believe it or not, it's easier to illegally stream it, okay, than to find it legally because literally, like, I have the Thriller app. Have I heard no one say ever, right? So, yeah.
No, but listen to this, though. I was just telling G Funky. Guess who's covering this fight? It's also available on Xfinity, Cox, DirecTV, Spectrum, Verizon, and Dish.
Then I stand corrected. Then
they're all carrying it.
Who's calling the fight? The commentators.
Wow,
that's a good question, man. But who's dying to see Paul versus Nate Robinson? I mean,
man, that's the one.
That might steal the show, man.
You see, now you're talking. Okay, now, you know what I mean? No, but I'll say this. Bada Jackson, the undercard, I kind of want to see how he looks. You know what I mean?
He's going against a guy who's local around here from Stockton. He's just not ready. I don't think he's ready yet.
He's going to knock that dude out from Stockton.
Yeah, he's really, in my opinion, he's really green, man.
Relax with that.
You know what I mean? The dude's in Stockton. We know the dudes are soft over there. So Bada Jackson is leading.
Hell no, Stockton's hell hard.
How's everybody going to cook their turkey coming up on Thanksgiving? You going to use an air fryer?
Oh.
I got an air fryer, man. I got this new air fryer.
You know what, though? You know what I never understood, right? Why would you put a turkey in an air fryer when
you remember I was telling what's his name about the air fryer? About the wings on the air fryer?
Oh, Dave, what are they? Yeah. Go ahead,
we did have them. That's right.
Things are good,
you guys
man.
are right.
Yeah. Cool.
I like to use it. Yeah.
The air fryer is insane. I make roasted potatoes on that all the time.
Man, the hash browns on there.
Yeah, I take a russet potato, I dice it up kind of small, 1 tablespoon of canola oil. That's all I need. 1 tablespoon. Get the
just
fat
a little bit.
Get the fat content reeled down. Makes the abs pop out like crazy.
Yeah, and I'm telling you, man, bacon, and I don't eat pork, so I put turkey bacon. Oh, man, that shit comes out so crispy, man. I love it.
Right in the air fryer, right in the air.
Yeah.
I'm gonna cook the turkey in the air fryer. I'm gonna smash up the turkey in the air fryer this year.
Man, you know what?
Now you guys are making me hungry, man, with all this talk, man.
I'm gonna split mine down the middle and marinate it in some some spices and actually put it on the grill for like 4 hours, dude. I'm gonna do it on some charcoal, some lump charcoal, mesquite, bro, mesquite.
Smoke, huh? Okay.
Yeah,
okay.
I'm gonna give it a try. I'm gonna give it a try, brother.
Yeah, man, this all sounds
You know,
good, man.
I don't know why. Like I'm hungry all of a sudden. You know what I mean? Like I'm just like I feel like I need to eat something now.
Yeah, I'm hungry too.
I'm nice and full, man.
I'm gonna go to KFC and just order a big bucket. You know, and just, like, for some reason I'm gonna destroy a bucket of KFC right now for some reason.
Yeah, and my wife, she's got some chile rellenos waiting for me. So
Hold on. Chile rellenos, okay?
Yeah.
California for you. Hey, let me tell you something. Chile rellenos are really good, but they're not really good for you. Okay?
Yeah.
They're good.
Yeah, that's true.
It tastes good, but they're not really good for you.
If you eat a bucket of KFC,
Facts.
if you eat a bucket of KFC, you know what you're gonna want to do after? You're gonna want to go. You're gonna want to go lie down on your couch and just hit Game of Thrones seasons 1 through 5.
You ain't moving.
You ain't moving. Shout out to Cano Loco. Shout out to Cano Loco. Washington Ave, baby. He knows what's up.
There you go, man. We throwing up sets around here now.
Hey,
man.
D-Style, what's your projection though? How much? What's the number on that fight, brother?
700,000 D-Style.
Give us a range if you can't come
down. 70% Tyson, 30 Jones.
No, not.
Oh, it's talking about the pay-per-view.
Not that one. Not.
So what? You asked for a D-Style projection. I gave you one. Right?
No, on the
pay-per-view buy. Let's 450,000.
Oh, orale.
I was just telling him that's what Jones did against Ruiz, man. Jones was doing numbers like that by himself. So I think this thing's going to do $1 million, man. I just have a feeling it's going to outsell everything this year, man. I think it is. Beeb says 700. That's a good number. 92 IQ, what'd you say? 400? You say the same thing? 400?
He had a range. He had a range.
350.
Yeah, there you go.
No Paul's got the wide range. What was gonna get No Paul?
Gotta be.
I got a range.
I guarantee that this pay-per-view is anywhere between 1 and 4 million. Like somewhere between that for sure.
It's gonna do in between 100 and 6.5 million.
you can't miss
long ranges though. Like, come on.
Yeah. What'd you say again, Paul? Was it 400?
It was 650K to 1.2.
I love this guy.
Man, that's a
D-Style,
wide range.
Hey, D-Style, I don't understand your predictions when you post those images of the prediction, like 70%. I don't understand though. How do you come up with those?
This is opinion, brother.
It's just my opinion, bro.
It's got a personal.
I mean, there's a computer in my brain, and I'm right a lot of the times, right? That they're almost spot on a lot of times, but
He puts it in the database. He puts it in the database, and whatever the database spits up.
I'm not gonna reveal my method now. You know what I mean? But all it is, and it's just what's more likely to happen. That's what it is.
Oh, okay. Because I thought you were pulling it out from somewhere, but I guess you are pulling it.
Kind of, man. You know, yes and no. Like, you know what I mean? Yes and no.
Okay.
So, guys, I think it's time we wrap this one up. I want to thank all you guys for joining me and everybody in the chat. Tomorrow we have HCP, Hispanics Causing Panic, over on D-Style's channel. So make sure you guys are there.
The 37th edition. So you guys make sure you tune in for that. And the round table on Wednesday. So make sure you tune in for that.
It's Wednesday. It's not Thursday.
Tomorrow's Tuesday, huh? Wow, I was thinking tomorrow was Wednesday. I was getting ready. I was thinking the round table was tomorrow. I was getting excited.
2 more days. 2 more days. 2 more days.
Yeah, and don't forget to subscribe to Ringside Reporter Live here on YouTube if you're not already subscribed to him. They just had a young kid. I forget his name. Vito. What was his name? Beeb. What you guys just had on yesterday?
Vito. Let me. Mel. I'm sure I can pronounce the guy's name. Vito. Melnicki or something. Melnichik or something. I can't pronounce his name.
Yeah. Cool interview though, man. Kid seems very poised, very cool.
I think his name's Melnicki. Vito Melnicki. He's a PBC fighter.
Huh.
Yeah, and he's going to be on the undercard of Spence Garcia, but I think he's going to be on the early prelims. I don't know if he's going to make the main.
Yeah, he's going to be on the early prelims. The Fox. I don't even think he's going to be on television. He may be on the early prelims though. Vito Melnicki.
Yeah, young kid, but he sounds he's speaking all the right things, man. He sounds like a kid that's ready to do what he's got to do to get to where he's got to get, man. And I like that, but we'll see, man, if he lives up to his expectations. Nopal, he's the one of the main guys in the Canelo cartel. Make sure you guys subscribe to him. Also, he should be pumping out some content, Gavron. I'm waiting on you. All right.
Orale.
DP Cartel Division. So make sure you guys see.
Yep.
Orale.
And 92 at KU. I don't know, man. I mean, I don't know if you're all the way down with ACP yet, you know.
He's a Triple G cartel over there, bro.
Oh,
yeah, Triple G gang.
The Triple G cartel.
Triple G gang over here.
The Triple G syndicate, huh?
There you go. Yeah.
But we always appreciate you coming on and chopping it up with this, man. We appreciate it. But again, make sure you subscribe to these guys, Ringside Reporter Live and Nopal.
Thanks, G Funky.
Yeah, and we'll be live tomorrow on D-Style, and then we'll be live again Wednesday on D-Style's channel for the roundtable. So we got a lot of stuff ready, man, before you guys have the holiday, man. So I'm gonna go ahead and end this thing.
We're gonna have Boxing Wave and In the Ring with Christine. It's gonna be a loaded roundtable, loaded panel.
More Glove Gate.
Probably not.
Probably not.
but I mean, Glovegate's dominating the headlines. You know what I mean?
Unless some new facts come through, right?
Unless some evidence comes out, you know.
I'm gonna start a new channel. I'm just gonna title it Glovegate.
Yeah, there you go.
I'll do all Glovegate.
No. I mean, look. Let me tell you. I mean, I am fatigued from talking Glovegate, but unfortunately, it's like this attitude. So the Roman thing happened, right? And now a lot of the people pushing Glovegate are using that as some form of quote unquote evidence. So of course,
you know what I heard is that Wilder paid Roman to do that. That way, you know what I mean. That way, Fury.
There we go.
No, I'm just kidding. But it does seem like something somebody would have made up, right?
The chief second and enforcer of the Canelo cartel. That is. Hey, Beeb, are you down? I know you say you should like you're down with Canelo. You could join the Canelo cartel. You know what I mean?
I'm in.
All right, cool.
All right.
You guys got to open up the books for Beeb, man.
Got to open up the books for Beeb, man.
Yeah. You need that northeastern representation. You know what I mean? So
yeah,
of course.
Yep, I like it, man. So, all right, guys, this was a good show. Appreciate all my guests for being here and everybody in the chat. This is G Funky Boxing for HCP, and we are out. Peace.